Hello and welcome to a new Hardware Intel webinar series, the webinars from UAP, exploring how hardware can help to shape our future, from households to commercial. In this series, I will be joined by a variety of guests and we will be discussing a range of legislative related topics. In today's webinar, we're talking about the TS008 regulations. My name is Nicola John and I'm a business consultant. And having worked in construction and the door industry for many years, all types of entrance doors and quality of products are really important to me. And joining me today is Michael Allsopp, the National Sales Manager at UAP. And returning is Richard Morris, the National Business Development Manager at UAP. So welcome to Hardware Intel, Michael, and welcome back, Richard. Perhaps we can start with you, Michael, today, because you haven't been on one of the episodes as yet. So if you could tell the viewers what you do in your current role for UAP, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, certainly. I've been working for a UAP now for just getting on for 5 years. My role as a national sales manager is to look after a team of ESMs, area sales managers, that cover the full UK for us. And also, I do a lot of key accounts as well. So as well as look after the team, I look after some accounts myself as well.
Brilliant. So you know our customers really well, and I'm going to be drawing on that as we go through the webinar, I'm sure. No Richard, problem. Would you like to refresh our viewers on what you do for UAP?
Yes, okay. I'll say my name's Richard Morris. I'm actually the National Business Development Manager for UAP. I've been in UAP for just over 7 years now, maybe 8. I can't really remember. It's been so long. But what my role is now is to actually go into new businesses as such, or getting into a business that we already work with and add new product lines in, new product ranges into these customers, and develop new products and push those new products forward into the actual markets that they're designed to go into, which we have many new products coming in now in 2022.
Brilliant. Okay, guys. Well, today's webinar is all about TS008. So I wonder, Richard, if you could kick us off with what exactly TS008 is.
Yeah. So TS008 is a standard that was set up by the Door Hardware Federation, which is kind of the overall umbrella governing body as such that covers the market for doors and the window industry, as it says, to try to get some compliance in the market so that people are following a standard and keeping to that standard, and ensuring that continuity and consistency across the market. So with TS008, it's specifically aimed at the letter plate part of the door setup, right. Specifically to ensure that obviously when you're having testing done on this door set, that the letter plate stops ways of actually phishing through the letter plate for people to actually gain entry to either your mail or to get access to the thumb turn or the actual inside of the door to actually break through and to cause issues like burglaries, with people actually attacking the door.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, very vital, I would say. So, Michael, how long has, you might want to add to some of the things Richard has said, but also how long has this TS008 been in force?
It's been on since the scope changed in 2016. It came into force. So the TS008, as Richard pointed out, it's basically it's enhanced security against opportunist attack. Basically, that is what it's for. If anyone doesn't know, the TS actually stands for technical specification. So you start, obviously, the 8 refers to the letterbox, if you like.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It also it's covered by EN 13724, which is actually the Postal Service standard as well.
Right. Okay. So quite a few bits of legislation there that the letter plate has to, follow, if you like.
It does, yeah.
What about changes then? If that's been in since 2016.
Yeah, there is a new standard coming out this year, 2022. There's a new standard coming out, which we're actually also fully aware of and working with their BSI on that.
Right. Sorry, Richard, did you want to add something there?
Yeah, well, no, I was just mentioning in regards to the postal standards. Again, it's not just about the attacking of the door. It's ensuring that products and letters and packages can actually get through the letter plate. So there's a lot of behind the scenes work done by ourselves to ensure that the letter plate and the actual aperture of the letter plate conforms to those standards. So and then the other side of it as well, we obviously work on the fire side of products, so we have to ensure that the products have a fire rating to them, so they will obviously comply to a fire standard too.
Right. Okay. So we've got the standard, if you like, and then you've got the fire rated standard, and both have to comply to this TS008, and you know, to make sure that the letter plates are at that particular level. I'm assuming. That's correct. Yes. So how does UAP make sure that it complies with those TS008 regulations? Either of you, which, you know, how do you make sure?
Well, basically, obviously, with the standards that are set out in the regulations, that there's a set of criteria that we actually have to achieve to make sure our products pass these TS standards. So what we're looking at, obviously, to start with, is what is the requirement of the product. So that is, again, the aperture width, the aperture depth, to ensure that, you know, it complies to the postal standard. Then it's the amount of opening that it's allowed to actually have on the actual letter plate. So when it's flat to open, it can be restricted to stop the fishing of the product. So they're all standards and measured standards. So we have to comply to them. We then do our own in-house testing where we design a product, even 3D print products, 3D print the items that we need to do a practice run, and then actually go through to the standards via Secure by Design to ensure that we have the certification in place.
Because I'm thinking, Michael, that you know, and your team of guys go back to your research and development department. So you've got, got quite a rigorous department, haven't you? That you'd go back with ideas from your customers and go back with any feedback so that you can work quite closely.
Yeah, of course, that's exactly what we've done. I mean, as I say, the TS008 come out for purely for security reasons. That's why it was introduced. But it's obviously aesthetics is a big part of it as well. It's got to look right as well. Yeah. And I think some of the earlier ones really, were very bulky. One of the things at UAP we did when we first designed the letter plate was actually it wouldn't protrude further than the handle, so it didn't impede the door. And obviously some of the competition unfortunately did. So again, development, we looked at what the customers were using, what the customers wanted, and that's why we reduced the slim letter plate, and that was purely by feedback from our customers. Yeah.
So that leads us on probably to the features and benefits. And when you're talking about the size of that, you mean the cowl on the back, I suppose, as that's well. Right, yeah, for when people are opening and shutting the door. So maybe can Richard firstly talk me through maybe some of the features and benefits of that product?
Yeah, so as Michael said, so the original TS008 that we produced many years ago now, it feels like, was the Satarian letter plate. So whilst it still had a much shallower depth on the actual inside of the door than some of the competitors in the market, the cowl was built into the letter plate itself. So it wasn't two parts or two components. So it actually looked quite ergonomically, it looked very good, and aesthetically it was well designed in a product. We then took that step on further then with the slim letter plate. So we were able to reduce the thickness and work in a way of mechanically making sure that the letter plate can only open to a certain angle to stop the fishing process, to obviously to comply with TS008 requirements. And that meant that letter plate, the slim TS008 letter plate, was actually designed near enough as a flat unit. And we have to say that now is going to be the leading product for us in 2022, with the features and benefits that you look at. We have it obviously in a standard format, we have it in an FD30 format, FD60 format, and we're just waiting on the confirmation for it to be certified as well, which is very good for the timber market.
And you've had some, finalists placing awards this year for this product, which is, quite rightly, because it is a really good product out there on the market. But what colour, give me some ideas on the sort of colours and finishes and things, so that if any of the customers are watching, they'd know.
Yeah, I mean, we have a mix and match on the colour specification. You can order the external and the internal separately. So you can, as you see, you can order a gold external with a chrome internal if you want. So you can, we do a white, a black, we do a satin finish. We also do a chrome finish, a satin gold and a polished gold as well. And we have it available in aluminium and also stainless steel external.
Okay, so lots and lots to choose from. So if they've got client specifications that need to meet a certain criteria, then you've got all of those things in there for them. So I suppose that would lead me to my question about what it means for the fabricators. So this piece of legislation on a TS008, what does it mean for people like your fabricators, your manufacturers, and also these end users, the installers who are installing for clients? You know, how do they know what to comply to and things?
That's a bit of a minefield, realistically, in the market. That's where the fabricators, installers, and manufacturers that are out there currently. Their compliance is difficult to achieve in some cases because we've still got customers that are using a 2012 PAS 24 specification rental products because of their sites that they're working on for their developers. For example, we'll have had a standard set out a while back, and they're still manufacturing letter plates. Doors with a letter plate and a cowl. Obviously, on sites that have moved on or newer sites that have only had permissions through in the last couple of years, then that won't be the case. Where we're seeing now, obviously, the PAS 24 2016 specification as such being used, and therefore they will be using a TS008 letter plate. There has been a big shift across to this product. We've seen it as a UAP, as a business, and Michael would agree on that in regards to the letter plate as a whole. And the main features of it is that it's inbuilt. So an end user, as we talk about, can't then turn around and take the cowl off the inside of the door, which a lot of people used to do because they didn't like it being on there. Because the product is inbuilt as a single unit, they're not able, it's a lot more difficult to take that unit apart to take away the cowl, and aesthetically it looks a lot better, especially with a slim, so therefore there's no need to, because it just looks like a standard letter plate.
Yeah. And Michael, I think you see a lot of manufacturers, don't you, and fabricators and installers, and your team certainly does. What's the sort of feedback you get from them about what, using TS008?
Well, obviously there was a little bit of a resistance, I think, at first because of it. I mean, you can't get away from it. The cost implications of a standard letterbox to a TS008 is a big difference in cost. But there's certainly benefits there, with the security of it. We obviously listen to our fabricators as well, and when we introduced the slim, it was one of the things we wanted to try and improve was the ease of fabrication, and that's certainly what we have done with the new slim letterbox. So I think now that it's been in the market for a few years now, I think people are accepting it, and I think we've gone away from the first sort of TS008 where it came in, and I say some of the competition, it was quite bulky and it wasn't received particularly well. Now it's a lot more accepted, so.
Yeah, you're a few versions down the road, aren't you? And you've certainly, managed to, hone that design. So that would bring us on to those end users then. So the clients like housing associations and councils and maybe private users. What benefits will they see from using this particular new plate?
Again, the aesthetics of the letterbox, is a lot better than the first sort of versions of it. It'll be, as I say, because we've got ours are so much slimmer than others. When you have say flat entrance doors where you've got restricted access. It allows the door to fully open, which complies to DDA regulations as well. So again, that's something that we've taken into consideration. So I think it is being received particularly well. Yeah. Yeah,
Richard.
Yeah, with the following on from what Michael said, it's being specified now. So from an architect point of view, it's all of these projects are driven by an architect, or they're delivered by then you've got the social housing customer that's looking at the specifications that they've got to comply to, and they're realizing now that TS008 is here to stay, and it's only an advantage for them to have a TS008 letter plate on that door set, because it gives them more compliance. So obviously, there's lots of other TS00 standards that go on a door set to make a complete door set, but with the letter plate being an integral part of a door, and in most cases in a flat entrance door, it's a fire rated product. They want to have a confidence in a product that has undergone many different types of fire testing. We've done FD30, we've done FD60. We've also been playing up to an FD120 on a steel door set now. So we know that the product line that we do is very robust in its manufacture. Also, there's ease of fitting with a slim is much quicker from a fabricator's point of view. And then obviously the overriding factor is the compliance for fire. That's what the end user wants to have, basically, their confidence in the product.
Absolutely. And I mean, that end user is getting the compliance to the security standards and, as you say, to the fire standards. And I think, you know, when they're specifying them, they've got that peace of mind, haven't they, that you're testing your products, you're regularly looking at them, you're retesting, you know, you do them, you know, very frequently to make sure that it's still compliant. And I think your end users will definitely get that benefit then.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both very much for this particular webinar. You're quite right. We are going to talk about some other TS008 standards in the next series. So that's it for this episode of our Hardware Intel webinar, which was part 2 of 3 on our legislative topics. And the next one we'll be looking at TS003, so solid, secure and other cylinder related regulations, and having a look at how we comply to those so that those end users, fabricators and manufacturers get the best out of all of the legislation. So thank you both very much again. And for our listeners and viewers, don't forget to watch, like and subscribe to the UAP YouTube channel, because there are lots of other episodes on very interesting industry topics there. So that's all from us today. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.